The Cosmopolitan looks like the coolest resort in Vegas. Sleek rooms, celebrity chefs, that famous chandelier bar everyone posts on Instagram. But behind the glittering facade, tourists are finally doing the math and realizing they've been paying 40% more than other strip resorts for objectively worse perks, tighter slots, and a loyalty program that treats them like suckers. How did a $1.7 billion resort that defined cool Vegas turn into the most expensive trap on the strip? The Cosmopolitan Las Vegas sparkles like a jewel box dropped in the middle of the strip. Walk through those doors and everything screams expensive cool. The lobby glows with warm light. Modern art hangs on the walls. Beautiful people drift past carrying cocktails in crystal glasses. The rooms look like magazine spreads. Floor to ceiling windows frame the Vegas skyline. The sheets feel like butter. Everyone who stays here posts the same photo. That view, that chandelier bar, that feeling of having made it. But something does not add up. Look closer at the casino floor on a Tuesday afternoon. Rows of slot machines sit empty. Table games have more dealers than players. The beautiful people nursing cocktails are mostly taking photos, not gambling. The energy feels off. This is supposed to be one of the hottest properties in Vegas. So, why does it feel like a showroom instead of a casino? The numbers tell a darker story. In 2022, the Cosmopolitan ranked near the bottom of the strip for gaming revenue per square foot. That metric matters. Casinos make money when people gamble. The Cosmopolitan has 100,000 square feet of casino space. That should print money. Instead, it barely breaks even on gaming. For a resort that cost nearly $4 billion to build and open, that is a disaster. Here is what most tourists do not know. The Cosmopolitan was never supposed to be a hotel. When construction started in 2005, the vision was completely different. This was going to be a condo hotel. Wealthy buyers would purchase luxury condos. They could live there part-time and rent them out the rest of the year. The developers saw dollar signs. Vegas was booming. Real estate prices climbed every month. Selling condos meant getting paid upfront instead of waiting for hotel revenue. It seemed like genius. Deutsche Bank loved the idea. They are a massive German bank, one of the biggest in the world. But they did not know much about running casinos. What they knew was lending money and making deals. They poured money into the project. First, $1 billion, then $2 billion, then more. The plans got bigger, the finishes got fancier. By the time construction crews were installing marble floors and custom light fixtures, the bank had sunk over $4 billion into dirt at the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Harmon Avenue. Then 2008 arrived. The economy collapsed, real estate crashed, banks failed, people lost jobs and homes. The Vegas housing market fell off a cliff. Suddenly, nobody wanted to buy a $1 million condo in a city where houses sat empty and casinos laid off workers by the thousands. Buyers who had put deposits down walked away. They lost their money, but they did not care. Keeping a condo in a dying city made no sense. Deutsche Bank panicked. They had a half-finished building and no buyers. They had two choices: walk away and lose billions, or finish the building and try to make it work as a regular hotel. Neither option was good, but walking away meant admitting total failure. So they kept building. They hired designers to convert condo layouts into hotel rooms. They built a casino. They added restaurants and bars and pools. The whole time, everyone knew this was a rescue mission, not a victory lap. The resort finally opened in December 2010. The timing could not have been worse. Vegas was still deep in recession. Tourists stayed home. The casinos that survived were cutting prices and giving away free rooms just to get people through the doors, and here came the Cosmopolitan, a brand new resort with no loyal customers, no established brand, and prices that made the Bellagio look like a bargain. But something unexpected happened. Young people loved it. The Cosmopolitan did not look like other Vegas casinos. No Roman statues, no fake Eiffel Tower, no pirate ships. It looked like a boutique hotel in New York or Miami. The rooms had balconies. The restaurant served small plates instead of buffets. The nightclub played electronic music, not top 40. For millennials who thought Vegas was tacky, the Cosmopolitan felt different. It felt cool. The marketing team jumped on this. They created a slogan, just the right amount of wrong. The ads showed beautiful people doing slightly rebellious things, kissing strangers, dancing on tables, skinny, dipping in the pool. It was Vegas for people who were too sophisticated for regular Vegas. The campaign worked. Suddenly, everyone wanted to stay at the Cosmopolitan. It became the place to see and be seen. Social media exploded with Cosmopolitan content. The Chandelier Bar became the most photographed spot in Vegas. You could not scroll Instagram without seeing someone posing with a cocktail surrounded by glittering crystal. The rooftop pools looked like movie sets. Every influencer who came to Vegas stayed at the Cosmopolitan. Every bachelorette party. Every young couple is celebrating an anniversary. The photos made it look perfect. Deutsche Bank breathed a sigh of relief. Maybe this would work after all. Maybe they could recover some of their investment. They watched occupancy rates climb. They saw the restaurants fill up. They noticed the buzz. For a brief moment, it looked like the Cosmopolitan might actually become profitable. But they were tracking the wrong numbers. Yes, the rooms were full. Yes, people came. But they were not gambling. They were not joining the loyalty program. They were not coming back. They were treating the Cosmopolitan like a photo opportunity, not a casino. They would stay one night, take 50 photos, post them online, then never return. Next trip, they would try somewhere else. Maybe the Venetian, maybe Caesars. Definitely somewhere cheaper. The executives did not see this coming. They thought cool equaled profitable. They thought Instagram buzz meant long-term success. They were wrong. The Cosmopolitan was becoming the most beautiful money pit in Vegas. And tourists were just starting to figure out why. The original plan for the Cosmopolitan made sense on paper. Build luxury condos in the hottest city in America. Sell them to wealthy buyers for $3 million each. Walk away with billions in profit. Never worry about hotel operations or casino management. Just collect the money and move on to the next deal. The location was perfect. Right in the heart of the strip between the Bellagio and Caesar's Palace. You could not ask for better neighbors. Millions of tourists walked past this corner every single day. The plot of land measured just 8.5 acres, but in Vegas, location matters more than size. This tiny piece of dirt was worth a fortune. Deutsche Bank saw the numbers and got greedy. They did not just want to lend money, they wanted to own the whole thing. So they bought out the original developers and took over the project. Now they were the bank and the owner. If it succeeded, they would make even more money. If it fails, well, banks do not fail, right? Construction costs exploded. The design kept changing. First, the condos were going to be modern. Then they were going to be ultra modern. Then they needed to be the most modern condos anyone had ever seen. Every change meant ripping out work and starting over. Marble got replaced with better marble. Light fixtures got swapped for custom imported fixtures. The budget meant nothing because everyone believed Vegas real estate would keep climbing forever. By 2007, the tower was rising fast. Workers poured concrete. Glass panels went up. The building started to look real. Buyers toured model units and wrote checks. Deutsche Bank executives flew in from Germany to see their investment. Everything looked great. Then the cracks started showing. The housing market peaked in 2006. By 2007, prices were falling. By 2008, the entire economy was in free fall. Lehman Brothers collapsed. Bear Stearns failed. Banks that had seemed untouchable were begging for government bailouts. And Deutsche Bank was stuck holding a half-finished condo tower in the desert. The condo buyers disappeared. Some lost their jobs, some lost their life savings in the stock market crash. Some just realized that buying a Vegas condo at the peak of a bubble was insane. Deposits were forfeited, lawsuits were filed. The whole condo model evaporated in months. Deutsche Bank faced a nightmare choice. They had already spent close to $4 billion. The building was maybe 70% done. They could stop construction, sell the property for whatever they could get, and lose billions. Or they could spend another billion, finish it as a hotel, and hope to slowly earn the money back over decades. They chose the second option, but they had no idea how to run a casino. Deutsche Bank executives knew finance and lending. They did not know how to comp high rollers or manage table limits or build player loyalty. They hired casino consultants. They brought in experienced operators. But at the end of the day, a bank was trying to run a Vegas resort. It was always going to be messy. The conversion from condo to hotel created weird problems. The rooms were designed for owners, not tourists. The layouts were strange. Some rooms had huge bathrooms and tiny bedrooms. Some had kitchens that hotel guests did not need. The floor plans did not match other Vegas resorts. Housekeeping had to learn different procedures for every room type. It was inefficient and expensive. The casino floor was an afterthought. Most Vegas resorts are designed casino first, hotel second. The casino sits in the middle. Everything else wraps around it. Guests have to walk through the casino to get anywhere. It is intentional. More walking means more gambling. The Cosmopolitan was backwards. The casino felt like something was added at the last minute. It sat off to the side. Guests could go straight from the lobby to the elevators without seeing a single slot machine. For a business that makes money from gambling, that is a fatal design flaw. The resort opened on December 15th, 2010. The party was huge. Celebrities showed up. The press coverage was massive. Everyone wanted to see the newest, coolest resort in Vegas. The first guests checked in and raved about their rooms. The photos started flooding social media. For opening weekend, it looked like a smash hit. Then Monday came. The celebrities left, the cameras went away, regular operations began, and the cracks showed immediately. The staff was undertrained. Front desk agents did not know how to handle check-in rushes. Cocktail waitresses got lost trying to navigate the casino floor. Restaurant reservations were a mess. These were normal opening problems, but they lasted weeks instead of days. The pricing was aggressive. Room rates started at $300 a night. That was Bellagio money. But Bellagio had been open for over a decade. They had millions of loyal members. They had a reputation. The Cosmopolitan was brand new and charging premium prices with nothing to back it up except good looks. The marketing campaign kept pushing the cool factor. Just the right amount of wrong. Come be sophisticated. Come be rebellious. Come be different. Young tourists ate it up. They booked rooms. They posted photos. They had an amazing weekend. Then they went home and did the math. $300 a night for the room. $50 in resort fees. $40 for parking. $18 cocktails. $25 breakfast. $30 pool, cabana rental. A weekend that should have cost $800 somehow cost $1,500. And the casino never gave them anything. No free play, no comp dinners, no upgrades, nothing. Other casinos rewarded loyalty. Stay at MGM properties and earn points. Play slots at Caesars and get free rooms. Even locals' casinos gave better perks than the Cosmopolitan. But the Cosmopolitan acted like giving anything away would ruin their image. They wanted to be exclusive. They wanted to be premium. They forgot they were still in Vegas, where free drinks and comped buffets are the foundation of the entire business model. So, tourists came once. They had fun. They took great photos. Then they never came back. Why would they? Vegas had 50 other resorts with better prices and better rewards. The Cosmopolitan was pretty, but pretty gets expensive fast. Deutsche Bank tried to make the Cosmopolitan work. They really did. They hired good people. They spent money on marketing. They booked top DJs and celebrity chefs. On the surface, everything looked successful. The resort was busy. The restaurants were full. The nightclub had lines around the block. But the profit and loss statements told a different story. Every month, the executives looked at the numbers and winced. Gaming revenue was terrible. The casino floor was beautiful but empty. High rollers went to Wynn or Bellagio. Serious gamblers went to Red Rock or M Resort where the odds were better. Regular tourists wandered through, played a few hands of blackjack, and left. Nobody was grinding hours at the slots. Nobody was betting big at the tables. The casino was losing money. Hotel revenue looked better, but the costs were insane. Operating a resort this fancy meant constant expenses. The staff needed to be bigger. The amenities needed to be maintained. Everything broke down faster because everything was custom. A broken chandelier at Caesars meant ordering a replacement part. A broken chandelier at the Cosmopolitan meant flying in a specialist from Europe. Every repair costs 3 times what it should. Food and beverage was a disaster. Yes, the restaurants were full, but they were full of people spending $30 on small plates and taking photos for an hour. Fine dining only works if people order wine, if they order appetizers, cocktails, and dessert, if they come back regularly. The Cosmopolitan's restaurants had Instagram traffic, not real traffic. People came once for the experience, spent the minimum, and never returned. The resort fees started climbing. First, they were $30 a night, then $35, then $40, then $45. Every year, another increase. The official reason was enhanced amenities. Better Wi-Fi, upgraded fitness center, premium pool access. But the real reason was desperation. The resort was bleeding money and needed to squeeze every dollar out of every guest. Guests started to notice. Online reviews mentioned the fees. A room advertised at $299 actually cost $400 after resort fees, parking, and taxes. That felt like a trick. That felt like a scam. Tourists started warning each other. Check the total price, not the advertised price. The Cosmopolitan always costs more than you think. Then, the nickel and diming got worse. Want to use the pool? That is included. Want a chair? That is included. Want a good chair? $25. Want a cabana? $150. Want to bring a guest who is not staying at the hotel? $50 days pass. The pool became a pricing menu instead of an amenity. The gym was the same. Hotel guests could use the basic gym for free, but the basic gym was tiny and crowded. The nice gym was part of the spa. That required a day pass. $75. So guests were paying a $45 resort fee for access to a gym they did not actually have access to unless they paid more. The logic made no sense. Casino players got it the worst. Most Vegas casinos reward gambling, play slots for a few hours and earn free buffets, play table games and get discounted rooms. Spend enough and the casino pays for everything: room, food, shows, even airfare. That is the Vegas model. Give a little to get a lot. The Cosmopolitan did not work that way. Their loyalty program was a joke. Players would sit at a slot machine for 3 hours and earn enough points for a free coffee. Maybe. The tier levels were impossible to reach. Even when players did reach them, the benefits were weak. A free valet parking, a birthday cake, nothing that made you want to come back. Other casinos started poaching Cosmopolitan guests. GM Resorts sent targeted offers: stay at Aria and we will match your status. Play at Bellagio and we will give you free play. Caesars did the same thing. They knew Cosmopolitan guests were unhappy. They knew the loyalty program was garbage, so they made it easy to switch. Guests started doing the math. A weekend at the Cosmopolitan cost $1,500 with 0 perks. A weekend at Aria cost $1,100 and came with a $100 food credit plus free play. The choice was obvious. The Cosmopolitan was pretty, but Aria was pretty too. And Aria actually rewarded loyalty. Social media turned. At first, everyone posted glowing reviews. Look at this amazing room. Look at this incredible view. Check out this chandelier bar. But by 2015, the tone shifted. Posts started showing itemized bills. Look at these insane resort fees. Look at this $60 breakfast. Look at this $12 bottle of water from the minibar. The Cosmopolitan went from aspirational to cautionary tale. Reddit threads broke down the math. Users posted spreadsheets comparing costs across different resorts. The Cosmopolitan always came out the most expensive. Not by a little, by a lot, 30 to 40% more than comparable properties. And the loyalty benefits were the worst on the Strip. The spreadsheets went viral. Tourists started avoiding the Cosmopolitan on purpose. The casino floor got quieter. Dealers stood at empty tables for hours. Slot machines that used to get action sat untouched. The few players who did gamble there complained about tight machines. The slots did not hit. The table rules were stingy. Blackjack paid 6 to 5 instead of 3 to 2. That tiny rule change increased the house edge massively. Regular players noticed immediately and left. The executive turnover started. Casino managers quit. The hotel directors left. Food and beverage chiefs walked out. Everyone blamed everyone else. The marketing team said the casino team was not aggressive enough. The casino team said the pricing was driving away players. The hotel team said they were understaffed and underfunded. Nobody wanted to take responsibility for the fact that the business model was broken. Deutsche Bank finally admitted defeat. In 2014, they sold the Cosmopolitan to Blackstone for $1.73 billion. They had invested nearly $4 billion. The loss was staggering. Over $2 billion vanished. One of the biggest banks in the world had been destroyed by a Vegas casino. Blackstone took over and tried to fix things. They lowered some prices. They improved the loyalty program. They added benefits, but the damage was done. The Cosmopolitan had a reputation now. Beautiful, but expensive. Cool, but not worth it. Great for photos, but terrible for value. That reputation stuck. Blackstone knew what they bought. They are one of the biggest private equity firms in the world. They do not make emotional decisions. They looked at the numbers and saw opportunity. Yes, the Cosmopolitan lost Deutsche Bank billions, but Blackstone paid less than half what it cost to build. At $1.73 billion, maybe the math could work. They made changes fast. Resort fees stopped climbing. Loyalty program benefits improved. Casino comps became slightly less insulting. The rooms got minor refreshes. Nothing radical, just enough to show that new management cared. For a brief moment, it seemed like things might turn around. But the fundamental problems remained. The location was great, but the layout was terrible. The casino still felt disconnected from everything else. Guests could still avoid gambling entirely. That design flaw could not be fixed without tearing down walls and rebuilding entire sections. Nobody wanted to spend that kind of money. The pricing slowly crept back up. Resort fees that had stabilized started rising again. $45 became $50. Pool cabanas that cost $150 went to $200. Parking that was $30 hit $40. Every executive promised this was the last increase. Every year, they increase it again. The resort could not help itself. The real problem was competition. When the Cosmopolitan opened in 2010, it felt different, fresh, exciting, but Vegas does not stay still. Other resorts watched what worked and copied it. The Venetian renovated their rooms to look more modern. Caesars upgraded their pool to compete. MGM built new nightclubs and restaurants. Suddenly, the Cosmopolitan was not special anymore. It was just another nice resort charging too much. The loyalty program issue never got fully fixed. Blackstone improved it, but they could not match MGM Resorts or Caesars Entertainment. Those companies owned multiple properties. A player could earn points at 10 different casinos and use them anywhere. The Cosmopolitan was one building. Playing there only helped you at that one property. For anyone who visited Vegas more than once a year, the math did not work. Serious gamblers learned to avoid it completely. The word spread on gambling forums and casino blogs. The Cosmopolitan has tight slots. The table rules are bad. The comps are weak. Go literally anywhere else. Players listened. The casino floor stayed quiet even when the hotel was fully booked. Guests were there to party and take photos, not gamble. The Instagram era kept the Cosmopolitan alive. Every year, a new wave of first time Vegas visitors discovered it. They saw the photos. They read the reviews from people who went once and loved it. They booked rooms and had a great time. Then they went home, did the math, and never came back. The cycle repeated endlessly. TikTok made it worse. Young tourists posted videos showing their bills. Here is my total for one night at the Cosmopolitan. The number was always shocking. $800, $1,000, $1,500 for a weekend. The comments are filled with people warning others. That place is a ripoff. Stay at Caesars, try the Venetian, anything but the Cosmopolitan. The resort tried to fight back with influencer marketing. They gave free rooms to people with big followings. The influencers posted beautiful content, but their followers were not stupid. They could see the tagged posts were sponsored. They could tell the influencer got everything compiled. That did not reflect the real experience for the regular guests paying full price. COVID hit Vegas hard. The Strip shut down completely in March 2020. When casinos reopened months later, everything changed. Capacity limits meant fewer guests. Social distancing meant fewer slot machines and table games. Operating costs stayed the same, but revenue dropped by half. Every resort struggled. The Cosmopolitan struggled more. Blackstone sold the property in 2022. They did okay financially. Not great, but they did not lose billions like Deutsche Bank. The new owners were a partnership between MGM Resorts and Blackstone itself. MGM would operate the casino while Blackstone kept ownership of the real estate. It was a complex deal that meant almost nothing to regular guests. MGM tried to integrate the Cosmopolitan into their loyalty program. Finally, guests could earn and use MGM points. That helped a little. But the Cosmopolitan still charged higher resort fees and room rates than other MGM properties. It still felt like an expensive option. Guests who were loyal to MGM questioned why they should pay more for a property that was not objectively better than Aria or Bellagio. The present day reality is strange. The Cosmopolitan is still beautiful. The rooms are still sleek. The restaurants are still good. The chandelier bar still looks amazing in photos. On any given night, the hotel is probably 80% full. From the outside, it looks successful. But look at the casino floor on a Tuesday morning. Empty. Check the loyalty program benefits against Caesars or MGM week. Ask regular Vegas visitors where they stay. Nobody says the Cosmopolitan twice. It became exactly what it was always going to become. A tourist trap for people who do not know better yet. The cruel irony is the marketing slogan came true. Just the right amount of wrong. The resort is beautiful enough to attract guests. Cool enough to get Instagram buzz. Nice enough that first-timers love it. But expensive enough to ensure they never return. Wrong. Enough that word of mouth kills repeat business. Right enough to survive, but never thrive. First-time visitors still love the Cosmopolitan. They post glowing reviews. They recommend it to friends. They genuinely have a great time. Then their friends go. And those friends do the math, and they tell the first person, hey, this place is kind of a ripoff, and the first person gets defensive. But eventually they go somewhere else on their next trip, and they realize their friends were right. So here's the question. Is the Cosmopolitan a disaster or a success? It is still open. It still makes money. It still fills rooms. But It cost $4 billion to build and sold for less than 2. It burns through guests who never come back. It has the worst loyalty value on the strip. It became a cautionary tale about style over substance. Maybe the real disaster is not that it failed. Maybe the disaster is that it succeeded just enough to keep going while never being what it should have been. A beautiful, expensive trap that tourists finally figured out.